What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. And wow, I kind of missed the time a little bit. I said I was going to get on here at 3:45 Eastern time. Zones throw me off. I'm not used to getting online for our live stream this time of day. I looked all of a sudden at my phone and I saw the pound pair is up 2%. And well, time to catch up with the action and what's going on. Danielle Snowy, what's going on? I'm coming into this blind. Obviously, it seems that we've had some of the early indications of what the poll results are going to be, and the markets are keying off that right now. Unfortunately, I'm not yet participating, and I think it's going to be a little while before I could get involved, but I want to know what's going on. I also saw the Euro US dollar was trading up near our resistance. So I want to catch up on everything that's going on. I saw that the trade deal had been signed, not the trade deal, the tariffs weren't going to be implemented, was signed, but I didn't expect that type of market reaction. We're trading at a resistance right now. Everything is going bonkers and off the gold's not. All right. First, let's focus in on the pound. I want to know the story so that we could trade accordingly. Let's check the headlines. Okay, so this is just the first indications, right, that the conservatives have a majority. So, right, if the next poll comes out and says that because we have here, we had just 30 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, the first exit polls are released. So coming up in another 35 minutes will be early results. And it's not until a couple of hours from now that we start getting all the results. Expect a lot of volatility ahead. This was just the first move and the first reaction. Sit tight here. Let's find out what is going on. What's above us? What kind of resistance are we looking at? Where's our next level? Wow. We got some upside potential here. I think the night is young. I think there's a lot ahead. And I just want to get situated and set. Put it in perfect. Let's focus down here. All right, I'm going to be following what is going on in real time as it's happening. And I think we're going to have plenty of time to get situated at that, as I guess here it's still not for 2.5 hours that things could start getting dicey. And then it's still another 2 hours after that until the direction will be in place. I missed this initial reaction. I have a feeling there's going to be plenty of volatility ahead and points to pick a spot and get in. Just going back to the Greek exit election night, when things changed really quickly, when we found out that actually no one thought the Greek exit was going to win going into that night. And then when all of a sudden the results started showing different, the market was positioned for one way. And when it got another result, same thing that happened in the US election night with Trump winning. So if things do change here, right, our base case is that this majority wins and the pound continues to appreciate. There should be some up and down and times to check it out. But if this changes for any reason, and the minority is supposed to be of a much less margin, there's a lot of risk to the downside more risk to the downside at this point than probably to the upside. Markets are absolutely bonkers. Someone said that it reminded them of trading during the crisis, and the moves are nothing compared to what that was like right now. But it was things changing really fast, a lot of rumors being spread, and markets just bonkers is the word. Euro is taking out this resistance here. Wow. Wow, look at these moves. Wow. It's tough. So I have some automated trading that I do on the pound US dollar and pound Japanese yen, and I don't trade these times ever. I was going to go ahead and because of what was going on tonight. I mean, this is the equivalent of as high as a news impact event you get, and go ahead and turn them on to trade during these hours. I messed up my time. I didn't get a chance to do that, unfortunately. Wow. Look at these moves that we're seeing. Pound Japanese yen up 2.6%. Pound Australian dollar up 2%. Pound US dollar up 2.5%. These are crazy moves. And the one that's got me really surprised is right here. Wow. It looks like we're not going to get another surprise this evening. We'll see. So what do you do? If anyone is thinking of jumping on right now, taking a trade long pound, if you're not yet involved, I'm definitely not, just to let you know. There's no way that I would trade off these levels, but we're going to have, it seems, other catalysts that will happen, and we'll see what happens and what develops. But there's no way I would ever chase any move like that. It would be so good to see the UK be able to get out of the EU. Then you would have a little bit of hope that democracy is still alive, and I hope that's what happens. I hope that was the will of the people. So I hope that is what happens. It's a shame that this has gone on for so long, and this is also fantastic as far as the global economy is concerned to get this out of the way. This is something that's really been hindering overall growth, and it'll be really nice to move past this. Mark, not even wow, completely bonkers. I am. If I take a second, I think I would kind of be. I should have been involved. I definitely. I don't know why I was thinking this was at 4:45 local time. Again, I'm not this. Anyway, it is what it is. It is completely bonkers up here. Not only just the pound, the rest of the markets too, right? Look at the Australian dollar, US dollar, the euro, Japanese yen. Look at this. I mean, everything is flying off the handle right now. And at this time of day, what is going to happen in the next 24 hours? London is going to be bazooka as well. Everything is resetting, figuring out now how to get in is going to. This is definitely an environment to thrive in, though, if you are a day trader. Speaking of which, that's the hard part. Like, so this is really good to look at. It's in 1 minute, you had a 300. Well, you had a 200 pip move in 1 minute, or a 250 pip move in just 1 minute, and then a 500 pip move or a 450 pip move in under 10 minutes. Right. This is definitely, if you are trading this type of volatility right now, you want to be trading off the 1 minute or the 3 minute time frame. I would not trade off of the 5 minute. That's too large of a time frame. Really helpful for anyone who is short term, short term minded. Pull up the true trend BTC. I'll close that out 1 second. Pull up the true trend BTC and just stay on the right side of that and you'll be perfect, right? If later tonight this turns to the negative side, that's the place to get short. This is, during these type of movements, the single best way to stay on the right side of the market. So use that as a guide. Good looking on that Euro US dollar. If you were able to get a TP around this area here into that resistance, that's some good trading. Good job. We were looking for a while if we got above this resistance here to look for a long. I never had the chance. Yeah, price did come all the way back down and touch and test successfully this broken resistance as support, but there was never an opportunity for me to get long, and that happened. That happened really quick. But it's extending above right now, and I don't know that this move is going to retrace, and I don't know that it's not going to hold. It looks like the Australian dollar has broken out of a 1-year trend line, and now it's breaking here above this resistance that it was. This could go on for a while. You could have a steep move here. The dollar must be getting wrecked. Like below here this could be a trend change for the US dollar, the DXY right here. You're breaking down for some pretty important supports here, and I'm just not looking that the market's going to, definitely retrace these moves and they're not going to hold. I have to be actually just willing to flow with whatever price is whatever is happening. And I'm just going to use my resistance levels. This is broken now. If this closes and holds above it, and then this becomes my new support, if that holds, taking a long off it, right? I would love to get involved in the Australian dollar, US dollar as soon as it's possible. It hasn't been possible. Look at this move. This has been going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This has been going straight up for over 2 days. It's not possible for me to get into the trade yet. But if these moves, and especially these moves on the pound, if they're gonna last, now that Johnson has a workable government, right, could deliver this Brexit, these moves could continue, right? This could be a shift in the markets, and whatever preconceived notions I had going in to the last 24 hours, things have changed a lot, and I'm going to change my whole outlook on things and just trade what's on the charts accordingly. And a lot's being priced in right now. You obviously, if you're not involved, you can't get in here right now. Or it's not smart to trade smarter, definitely. So let's just see what happens. That's the thing about the market, and that's why trading is so difficult, is because there's always opportunity in the market. There's always opportunity in the market. That does not mean that you should always be trading the market, right? That if you're always trading the market, for sure you don't make money. You're losing money. That's not smart. So we'll see. I mean, it's possible events today change and this does retrace, but don't look for it to retrace. This could keep extending. Way too fast. Still should have been ready for it, but it was way too fast. I'm sure Raj was all over this. Yep, Rab. I'm yeah, that's how I make a living. I'm good like that. All right. This was the only trade. I took a trade on the Euro US dollar, which I got at flat this week. I took this entry over here and then got out actually live on the live stream. That was a few pips, neither here nor there. And I took this week also the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Where is she? I took this setup here in London. And it was a good trade, but I took profits over here. And that was it. So yeah, for me, it's been a good week, and I don't need to be involved in all the action, right? You don't make money. I know that for certain if you're involved in all the action like that. So yep, you'll find me on the sidelines much more often than not. This the true trend over here at above 250 is pretty overbought. What's here on the pound pairs? We have that level in place. Let's see what happens if price gets up there. It's still another 100 pips up. Yep, this week it's nice to see volatility coming back into the markets. It's very, you have to be able to adjust. You have to follow the flow. The rest of this month again could, let's see what happens. Wall Street's definitely on edge. The banks have to settle up, and this year end there could be a shortage, and this could be nothing compared to the volatility that we experienced 2 or 3 weeks from now. So just follow the flow and just identify each day what's going on, as well as each week. I have to watch where that's to. Let's look at this from a different perspective here. This is pretty big resistance right here. This is pretty big resistance in at, call it 1.1184. And if price is able to break out above here, it has some room to go. So I think, uh, you know, what the Fed Chairman Powell had to say yesterday in the press conference, I think that definitely has provided a tilt towards this weaker dollar that we're also seeing. I don't know about selling the dollar 2 weeks ago. That seems a little crazy. Um, that's fine. Everyone takes their position. 2 weeks ago when the dollar was up here, selling it there. Well, I don't know. But although I definitely had the mindset that we could be seeing a much stronger dollar, um, now I have to be open-minded as we get over here around 96.50, that if we continue this move, that changes. Nice trading, Daniel. Everyone be careful out there. Again, right now, if you're trading, you want to be on a really short time frame. I would be trading on the 1 minute. How could I make this indicator minimized? Mark, I saw a headline of that. Is that just tonight, or is that they've set aside an additional $366 billion? That can't be in one day. That's insane. I don't know. I don't know why gold is so subdued here. I checked out gold to see what was going on throughout all this, and it really hasn't moved. That's because gold doesn't trade right now. We're going to see a big gap in a little bit on gold. Gold should open up, at least on my FX broker, in about 8 minutes. Gold should open up at least with my broker in about 7 minutes, and then I imagine we see a big move. 366 billion dollars overnight. That seems like something is really wrong. Noon, where are you looking? Where are you looking at the wedge? US dollar, Canadian dollar? Sorry. No, that's not really moving. Okay. Here we go. Gotcha now. What level do you have on the DXY? 9610. Let's take a look. Because I have to get new levels in mind here. Got support down here. It's a good one. We're definitely also just hanging out around the support level right now as well. You could see that that's the resistance level that was taken out on the euro US dollar. So whether or not this holds or not is the main question, right? This is a big resistance. Well, yeah, Paul, that's good forward thinking. What happens next? And definitely on the. So let's talk about even what happened with Trump extending the tariffs, and that really is just kicking the can down the road. The indices must have that all priced in as high as they could right now, right? Um, this opens up again in another 5 minutes. I have to find out where the S&P is trading at. What does the market has no more trade deal to look forward to now, right? That's kicked down. The can it's been kicked down the road for a little while. As far as the pound, though, I think that this is just beginning. There's going to be a lot more movement tonight, that's for sure. And then it's not over. You have also then the politics start really playing out. So I don't think that's going to come into play for a long time. I don't think that's going to come into play until MNT really starts getting kicked in, until you start seeing, I don't know, well, free healthcare for all, right? Once you start seeing that, once you start seeing perhaps free college, huge infrastructure being rebuilt, at that point, I think debt is going to, eventually become a problem. Was it $23 trillion right now without liabilities? What did we want to US dollar Canadian dollar or US dollar Swiss franc actually? Sometimes it's easier just to type it in. Boom. That's a weak Swiss franc and a weak dollar, and they're both just stuck. Yeah, absolutely. You can't bet like that. I'm sure some people did. All right, I want to keep following. So supposedly in just a no, it's still an hour away or so, an hour away. We should have gold opening up in just a moment. Not much of a reaction yet. Grab, if you go over to yeah, I'll put it in the chat, my Twitter handle, and you send me a direct message. If you send me a direct message of the chart, I'll be able to pull it up onto the screen so we could all look at it. I'm interested to see for sure. I do not know why people are not able to put links in. The settings definitely have links allowed to be shared. It'd be much easier for me if you could just post the image into the chat. I'll troubleshoot when I have a moment, but I've looked at the settings and URLs are allowed. This level is definitely in play tonight. I guess you could also send it through here pretty easily too. You could message on TradingView, and that's probably a quick and easy way to get it through. Let's take a look at gold. King, that's the question, isn't it? And I don't know right now. It looks like for the Australian dollar, right? New Zealand dollar, it's uber positive. That's the way the market's taking it right now. Australian dollar is breaking out of a 1-year trend line and now is broken above resistance. This thing looks like it's definitely signaling, as far as China is concerned, it's a good thing. Dollar is selling off. I don't think that's so much related to the China news. I think that's more along the lines of Powell yesterday. And Japanese yen is weak. I mean, even the dollar is stronger. Even the dollar is stronger than the yen. So the yen is the weakest, right? So if you're playing the pound and you're interested in being long pound, you know, better to play versus the Japanese yen than the dollar, because the yen is weaker than the dollar. Reb, I don't have a notification yet if you sent a private message with that link. Um, so take another look if you can. No, I don't have a direct message from you. It hasn't come through. All right. So there's a lot for the market that I'm really more focused here tonight on the pound, right? Because I think by tomorrow, New York, we're going to have a lot more clarity um, of what direction the markets are actually taking. You can see right now here, looking at the 1 minute on the Euro US dollar, this resistance, this breakout of that resistance is being tested right now. So it's amazing that we could look at the 1 minute that the market's trading with such movement and volatility, that we could be looking at the 1 minute, which is awesome. I first started trading 19 years ago on the Hang Seng futures, trading off the 1 minute, and that market moves so fast, and fast moving markets are great. So it's interesting to watch how this plays out. Pound is now just holding and consolidating those gains still. We have some Dear Reb, just click on the Twitter handle. You know what? Actually, Reb, go ahead and follow me first, and then I'll follow you back, and then you could send it. I don't have a message though right now from you at all. So I don't know if you can. Reb, go ahead and follow me first. I'll follow you back, and then maybe resend that message. I don't have a notification that you even tried to send me a message. I would love to see it. I'll also pull up my trading view right now so that you could go ahead and send the message there as well. There you go. I'll put this in the chat. You could just send the message to me on TradingView. This is crazy. The market's just on thought. We understand why that happened on the pound. Don't forget though that like Asia has not yet entered their trading desks. This is a low volume portion of the day, and moves could be exaggerated. Let's see what happens. Don't jump on anything too fast or too quick. Let's see what happens when Asia opens up, right? Let's go broken out of our bear flag. So it's, I mean, super interesting. I mean, this is, you have the weak dollar being priced in right now, but yet stronger than gold uh, so far. And that means that the market is just taking, obviously, what is transpiring between the US and China as that this is beneficial. You should see oil when it's trading really moving up. Not yet. So is this a good time on a break here? Is that a good time? Normally don't trade breakouts or breakdowns, but a break of this pattern to the downside, right? Is that going to extend to this support pretty quickly? I think so. Might be an opportunity. This will start getting going around the Asian Open, but you can see it's moving down now. You all know I don't chase things. I wait. This might be a play to look for to the downside. Ultra awesome. Do not. There's so much time. Do not. That's great. That is really solid, mature. I don't think that's like I'm frozen. I don't know how to take a trade. I'm afraid to place an order. There's no certainty right now whatsoever, and there's no need to be in the market. The market's always going to be there. That's the thing. The market is always going to be there. Just wait and trade when you do see something and everything's lined up clearly. There's so much is going to happen before New York opens tomorrow that if you don't know what's going on, just stand aside. why why can't you send it right here? Crazy skates. You can't send the message right here? Hold on. All right. That's frustrating. I want to make it so that everyone could post chart links so we could look at them at ease all the time. So that's a priority. I'm going to figure out that solution right away. Just email it me. Email me to j@jcl.capital. Sorry about that. It's so frustrating. Looks like the pound is just standing still right now, huh? But again, we still have a while to Asia opens. We are going to see some big moves then. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Are we look at that on the weekly? So gold's interesting, right? If we get a breakdown over here, I have a feeling if we break down out of this channel, which looks like a bear flag to me, that we get a look down at like 1450 really, really quickly. And that's going to be, if we get a break below that, that becomes a home run. Yeah, there's no need to be looking or trading right now. I mean, I'm watching gold, and again, I'm watching if there's a breakdown over here, but and we were really, all of us were watching it right here, and this move just happened too quick to get involved, right? We were watching. We also had this support in this trend line, resistance, and if you don't know what's going on in the markets and you see everything moving like crazy right now, it is crazy. There's no need to chase after any of this. If these moves are the start of something new, um, for example, on the euro US dollar, if this big resistance here is being taken out, all right, give price a chance to establish that breakout. Give it a chance to consolidate above here and wait to see if it breaks out, resumes the trend back upwards. There's time to get involved, and by waiting for your trades to come to you, you're going to do much better. There we go. How to copy the entire link. Let's take a look. And that's the way to do it. So this is going to be the easiest way for all of us to do it, is just through TradingView going forward. First of all, I like the nice, simple look. This resistance up here at 99.62. I thought we were going to get a test of that again. And then at 98.46, this is where you went short. Okay. And that was off the daily, off the doji. Double top too. I mean, I don't really consider double tops lower than the high, but you had price touch twice here off the doji. I mean, it worked out beautiful, right? There, the RSI was overbought. And that's why you have 96.10 as the support. Yeah. Have to really admit, I was definitely leaning towards this dollar bullish strength to continue. Especially what was going on with the euro dollar. And you caught it. You caught it well. Thanks for sharing the chart. Sorry about all the trouble to get that over here. And I like this level, and I'm really going to focus in on this level. If this doesn't hold, then we're going to see some really, really, really strong follow through on a weak dollar. I'm pretty sure the next 30 minutes are going to see nothing of nothing. Yeah, for real though, right? I'm trying to perceive that. I can't really wrap my head around that. At least I know it's there, and if it happens, what needs to be done. So I'm just thinking long term, the moves we would see. Oh my goodness. Going back to the Australian dollar news, I was able to, and we discussed that these were outside of the type of trading that we do in our normal day to day here. I took a small positions in separate accounts, just jumping on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, and New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, because of what was developing. I feel like I need to do that somehow now on the Australian dollar, US dollar, because probably against the yen. There is just so much potential to the upside here if this current trend is able to really get a foothold and extend. Also on the US dollar here, I like the yen better. Again, you're paying a swap on the Australian dollar, US dollar when you're long, and you're collecting one versus the yen. And that makes a big difference when you get into a position type trade, something not a swing trade, a position type trade, something that you're looking to hold for a long duration. The swap definitely makes a difference. Yep. Absolutely. We definitely we definitely pick our setups here. And, you know, again, patience is something that you acquire when you learn that simply you make money by waiting for your setups, and you know what setups to take, and not chasing after the market and not trading to trade and being in the market. Guarantee 9 times out of 10, if you take a trade and you're like for example, on the pound Japanese yen right here, if someone, you know, right now is like, all right, I'm going to take a long and I'm getting out, you know, if it goes up 20 pips, guarantee, you know, 9 out of 10 times they're going to lose a ton of money on that trade, because their stop is probably not proportional. It's probably not 10 pips. They're probably going to get caught on the wrong side, just looking for such a small, tiny gain. And they're going to hold that and then break back down. All of a sudden you lose this level over here, and then it's a nightmare, right? That's not how you trade. That's how you lose money. Got to really trade with patience. Wait for your setups to come to you. If you don't know what's going on in the market, and trading right now between sessions, you know, between New York and Asia, it's not a time to trade. And Noala, thank you. Again, the yen is weaker than the US dollar right now. So if you are trading the pound and you have a long bias, focus in on the pound Japanese yen. If we start seeing things change, then focus in on the dollar, on the pound US dollar to the short side. Pound Japanese yen to the upside, pound US dollar to the short side. I mean, honestly, the real way to do it though is to get in via swing trade, right? With your initial risk and your favorable risk to reward, and then if you get in and it becomes a free trade, you just let it go. You don't look to take that profit. It helps to do it in a separate account than you normally trade out of. I'm really interested what happens on gold on the Asian Open. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, no matter what, you're always learning, always learning, you're always learning. And that's exactly the type of mindset you have to have uh, in any profession, in any career, to keep becoming the best and keep moving forward. You always have to be learning, always, you know, being able to assess yourself, know where your weaknesses are, know where your strengths are, focusing on your strengths, work hard on your weaknesses. can always be exploring and looking for new things. It really helps develop so you don't get stuck. It's a tough one. It looked like we could fall off a cliff right now. We gotta really go down. I'll start on the weekly. You might even need to look at the monthly. So everyone can see right here that we're losing this support right here and on big news, right? So where's the next thing? I want to look up on this chart though right here. Where's my trend lines? All right, let's start on the weekly. I have, first of all, I have this line extended. This looks better on the daily. All right, you can see this on the daily. It's extended so far that it needs to be adjusted. Let me look at the weekly, and we're just going to look straight horizontally. And here is where we're losing the support. It looks like we've broken down below this support now. I'm worried. I'm not worried. I'm mindful of what will happen when we reach on the daily the lower bound of that trend line. But as far as what's below us, maybe we need to look at the monthly. This looks crazy and scary. So over here at 0.8156, right around that area, I think that is really the next support. And I have to say, .80568 looks stronger. And really, it's not until you get down to 0.782. I feel like the slope of this is a little off. It should be a little bit higher, but I can't get to the bottom yet of that. What I'm looking for first, the first bit of resistance I'm looking for, this lower trend line right over here, which is held here. It held throughout over here. It held again over here after price broke out of the top part of this trend line, right? Came into this resistance and then fell back into the channel. It wasn't until it found support off that lower trend line again. So that's where I'm looking to see if this will stop, right? Unless we get, of course, depends where this closes. And if election results somehow are not what they seem to be right now and things change, then we won't get a close inside this upper trend line, which you could see held all the way through here. It broke here, but price came back into it again. It held for another touch over here. It broke out over here, went back in and held, broke out over here. And since this has been holding us support, this broken resistance has been holding us support. And it's only again today that it's falling back in right now. So, and I assume that's, you know, on all pound pairs, they have some room to roam here. I think I lost the feed. I don't know. I'm not sure if we're live together right now or not. All right. I found my way back to you all. I think we're kind of like in the eye of the hurricane right now. Things are a little bit slow. Again, we're between sessions. I think things are going to heat up quickly on the Asian Open. I'm not sure. I think I'm just on a pro account. Let's look at the Euro US dollar together. And as far as looking to buy, we have our, let's take a look at it together. Let's get off the weekly though, eh? So you could see tonight right now, this, and this is big resistance right here. You could see it's pretty big resistance. Support is held. Again, this was tested as resistance. Support held up here. Resistance, resistance. And now we're breaking above it, but this has not yet been confirmed or closed above it. Right now, this is still resistance. If price breaks above here, right? We're very, very overbought. So not why I will be looking to buy and only take longs above there. I will give it some time to consolidate first. Okay, it's Thursday night going into Friday, going into the weekend. A lot of people might be looking to take some profits. Anyone who has been ahead of these moves might be looking to take profits tomorrow. I'm stalking gold right now to see what happens, but I'm not going to chase this here yet. Let's let it consolidate a little. Like, you know, price tends to consolidate around support and resistance. It doesn't always burst through like it has over here, and we'll watch it. We will look for longs over here, but it's too soon to, I think, or at least for me, to be looking to go long here just yet. Let's give it some time. Let's let it take a breath here, and then let's find out what the next move is. I'm just on a pro account here. I started a trial under the premium, and maybe that's why. That could be the reason. Also, the Australian dollar, US dollar, look at this. Since it took out this level, and it's been nonstop. It's been nonstop. I'm going to give it some time here. I would like to get long if this move is going to continue. I'll be looking to the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, though. And don't forget, right now, the yen is definitely weaker than the dollar. And that's because of what's going on with the US, China, and coming to some type of amicable solution to move forward. The whole reason that the yen was appreciating was because of all of the US, China trade wars and the effect that has on the global economy, right? And that seems to be unwinding here a little while. This is a huge level, right? We get above this resistance up here, and I want to be long. If we get above there. So right now we're seeing moves develop, but there's no need to chase them. There's no need to chase them. Tonight, if you're really nimble and it's how you trade and the time frames you trade, focus in on the pound. Any pound pair, there's going to be a lot of movement there. This is not over. We'll see what the next direction is. And let's see if there's any updates. I don't think whatsoever this is going to be a sell the news type event. It appears that there's going to be such a strong majority. I think that there'll be a little bit of follow through, and then I don't know what's going to develop yet as far as how the politics will take place. But the market will begin focusing on what's next, and I don't know what that is yet. I'm not going to go there until I have a clear idea. I think it's a question of getting through tonight first. Reb, I had started that on a premium account, and I might had, been looking at the euro pound, and maybe that's the reason why. I'm not sure. I don't think support is really going to come through. But if you're looking at a weekly or monthly, I think it should go back. Check it out. Start on the weekly or the monthly time frame and take a look. All right, everyone. I'm just going to pause here for 5 minutes. I'll be right back. All right, looks like I missed nothing. Good. It's watching the Euro US dollar, and this resistance here is a big one. It's kind of amazing that this whole move, which is 2%, happened in about 7 minutes. I mean, there are very few people in the world who understand the exact situation as far as the repo market is concerned, but how could anyone not look at this situation and see that in the 2007 2008 crisis, the bankers bailout was $650 billion, and I believe it was 650 billion. And they're looking to inject $500 billion in the next couple of weeks, and the markets are trading at all-time highs, and supposedly we're in the biggest, longest bull market of history. Something's wrong out there. Something's not right. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And we're seeing all these enormous moves, this yen weakness right now, this dollar weakness. I guess that's why it's always tough. You can't just take for granted that these moves are going to continue, because this could move over into FX really quickly. Raj, I personally, messed up what time we were getting online. I missed us by like 35 minutes, and I had the intention. I don't trade my automated systems during this time of day, only during London, certain hours in London, certain hours in New York. And I was going to go ahead and turn them on for this event, and I didn't. Unfortunately, this would have been a layup, one of the easiest trades all year. We were just looking at how these moves happened in about 7 minutes. This first minute, price moved like 250 pips, and altogether 450 pips looks like it was, or 400 pips was in 7 minutes. What happens next? I mean, I think everyone's, I don't know, this is definitely your forte. I don't think we're going to receive any type of situation like we did on the night of Greek exit, where what the market was looking to happen didn't, or on the night of the Trump election when he was expected to lose, and then all of that was a great night for trading. I don't think we're gonna. I think it's clear that Johnson and the conservatives get a big majority here, and the question is what does the market look to next in these British politics? I think that's going to be the next question. But the night is still young, and we could still get some moves. But FDA, that happened though in 7 minutes. That's not easy to trade for anyone, right? You had to had resting orders in there for whatever reason. That's not something that you could just really trade. What happens next is the question. That's good. I mean, I pray that the people's voice is heard. It's been years now since the people voted to leave the EU. Right or wrong or indifferent, democracy is democracy. And I hope that the powers that be in the EU are not able to prevent that from happening. Freedom is an important thing, the most important thing. That might not be such a bad thing. I mean, that's okay. I mean, there's two ways to look at it. You could be looking at this huge move that you missed, or you could be looking at the fact that you got out of that trade because you are uncertain and you didn't know what was going on. So you closed the buy orders. This is disturbing any way you look at it. This is so disturbing. All right. So it sounds like having very little information or understanding what's going on though is that you're kind of just trading with a feel for the market and you really don't have a plan in place that you trade off of stick to. And that's got to be your priority. You got to figure out what it is that you're doing so that you can do it consistently. Um, it's the single most important thing that you need to do in trading. You can't just go out there and wing it from day to day. It doesn't work like that. All right, so that's good. That's good that you're able to kind of take a look at what's going on, and you have to work on your strengths and you have to recognize your weaknesses and fix them. You need to be trading with a plan. You need to know what time frame you trade off of. You need to know how you do your analysis. You need to know what kind of trades you are taking, as well as exits. Everyone has to, and please sincerely always forgive my pronunciations. Um, when I was little, uh, I learned English by memorization. I couldn't really sound out words, and I'm not good at it today with words that I'm not familiar with. Yeah, 19 years of trading adds up to a lot of experience, and I'm glad you found this channel too. Um, when I first started trading, it was books, magazines, that was all the source of information. There really was not, there was not YouTube, and there were not places online where they were just starting. You couldn't really get some good information. And I think that now starting out as a trader, or even someone who's been involved in the markets for a while, I mean, there's just a wealth of information that could be found. And working together, sticking together, the idea is to get everyone profiting here from the markets. And I'm happy to share what experience that I have. DJ, I'm glad not only did you close it, I'm glad you closed it where you did. If you saw it after you closed it, price kind of retraced upwards, so you felt good about it, but then went all the way back down to where you had closed it. So you might have felt like, oh, should I have closed the trade or not? It's just such a sketchy time to be trading. Definitely also counter trend. And I'm glad you booked those profits today. I wish myself and everyone were involved in all this. I messed up on the time zones. That's fine. Uh, it has already been let's look at the pound for a minute. And by the way, before I go any further, I'll come back to that. I need to pull up the channel. This is one of the first videos released on this channel over here, this very easy and profitable trading strategy that I highly suggest that anyone who's not yet profitable take a look at and start following. And this is trading 5 currency pairs off the daily time frame, so it takes very little time from out of your day and schedule. It's perfect for anyone who's working full time. We have trades open on this on the pound US dollar and the pound Japanese yen. So the pound US dollar had already taken profit like last week. I've not even checked into where they are. I'm sure that they're well into profit now. It's not even a concern of mine. That's great, but this is something to watch and check out. And Isidro or anyone else who is just joining us, if you haven't already, please do go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'm glad you found this too. And if you subscribe to the channel, you're gonna be able to keep up with us and our updates. But again, this video, anyone who has not yet had the time to watch it, this is going to help you whether you stick with this method or not. This method is alone enough to be profitable. And if you want to be more active than that, it'll teach you a lot about money management, and you'll be able to take that and translate it into your other trading. This is shared. Take advantage of it. As far as pound, you want to look at the pound US dollar, right? So right now, and this is going back right from the summer, for the last 6 months, the pound has been appreciating strongly against the US dollar. Let's look at on a higher time frame. All right, the pound is trading at just over the last 10 years extreme lows versus the dollar. Do you think that the US dollar, look at that formation, this W formation? This is not something I'm familiar with, but if you look where it is right now, look what my mouse is, that horizontal line, and you see all of this resistance right here, and then back over here, we're breaking out above it. I mean, where does the pound US dollar end up? It looks like it potentially, much higher, and the risk doesn't seem to me to be to the downside. If I had account in pounds, I mean, I don't know, I would probably just, if I was in the US and needed dollars, just use the ATM to access that account. But I don't know, that's not really my forte. I'm not offering you advice on that, but if I was in that situation, that's what I would be doing. I would just hold my pounds in pounds, right? The pound is appreciating versus the dollar. It doesn't look to be reversing anytime soon, and I would just use the ATM to access dollars. There's also the Cash App in the US. I'm not sure if you could transfer dollars to pounds to euros, but I would look into it. There's so many services available that makes transferring monies through different currencies so easy today. Raj, if you're here, I'd like to know what's next as far as what the pound is going to be looking forward to. What's the next move as far as the politics are concerned, now that Boris does have the majority, a strong majority? Looks like the euro is having a little bit of trouble holding that resistance as of right now. I think the Asian Open is going to be pretty important here. You could see that's why you don't chase after things. So, but does it matter whether he leaves without a deal now or if he leaves with a deal? And if he leaves without a deal, will that possibly see some sell off on the pound initially? It's probably better off for the economy in the pound in the long run to leave without a deal. But initially, will the market reaction actually see the pound sell off then? From what I understand, that the EU is not going to be looking to make a deal anytime soon. I believe they said last week, the head negotiator said before 2021 they won't make a deal. Oh, that's good perspective, Raj. That's good perspective. Thank you. I think you got to wait for the Asian Open here to find out what's going to happen here on gold. But you also see this is support. until it breaks. I think we'll get a little bit of a push. We always get a push on the Asian Open, one way or the other. And I mean, I'm noticing here that the Euro US dollar is having trouble holding right now, this resistance level. And so that might mean the dollar is firming up a little bit. But that would probably help gold break down. So it's a little bit confusing with silver. We were looking at earlier in New York today, we were looking at what would happen here with silver, and we had this extended trend line here, and that was the ideal situation we were looking for. There was no play that I know of to go play to the downside, as with gold. Also, that happened so quickly. It was just that one tweet, right? We were watching price up here, and then Trump tweeted, and boom, came down to here so quickly. Let's watch what happens on the Asian Open with gold. I think if it's going to break down, that might be the time when it does. And I mean, but more, what about the US dollar though? Not that the euro is not important, but the dollar is, the dollar. And it seems like since yesterday that the dollar is on the back foot. And whether or not that firms up or not is the question, or if it continues. All right. It, like the euro, is trading, at that support level right now. And then you got if you get below this support down here at 96.10, 96.08, things become really troublesome. And again, until there's a clear picture, you're better off not getting involved. I like gold is at a critical point here where it's kind of easy to see. So I like it. And I think similar to why we're seeing the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and the yen weakness and the strength in those two is because of, near term, we've seen an escalation take place between China and the US. And that, in oil, you should see oil actually break out to the upside from here because of it. Near term, this should take a lot of pressure. This should take some pressure off the global economy, which I still think is headed for a slowdown. But this might buy some time. Danielle, you're at support right now. You're at support right now, right? So for me personally, if I were buying gold here right now, that would mean I would not do it. And this is an active Asian session, so it's a little different. My experience and where my data lies is that by avoiding Asia, my profitability increased by avoiding Asia. It has a lot of false signals, so I do that. Except I would have taken these pound trades in this off session because of the type of news event that it was. What I would be looking, if I was going to go long here, I'm looking at support right now, this lower trend line. I have this support over here also at that around 1463. And if I saw that price were to go ahead and resume off that support by making a higher high than the previous 8-hour price bar, that's a safe signal for me to take. Again, during London or during New York, that's when they work out the best for me, and I would look to go long here. I don't normally chase or take breakouts, but occasionally I did. Took one a few weeks ago on the British pound to the downside. Didn't work out. If I take the breakout, I move my stop. If we break down here and I take the trade, my stop will be right above the bar that it broke down at, so about 1470. And that's it's at a nice point, because you could say, hey, I'm buying gold down here. Well, it's at support, so that's a good place to buy. I just wait for price to show me that it's going to actually resume upwards. I like taking the trades where more things are going in my favor, but I'm looking for it to break down here, and if it breaks down out of this pattern, I'm looking to get involved. We're in about 30 minutes. We should be able to find a good. Let me look for a page here for you. Maria, let me find that page for you. Maria, I'm showing two sources saying that Asia opened at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and you're going to see, we'll be here live together in a half hour is when the move is going to start taking place. So I don't know why. All I know is that at 8 o'clock Eastern time is when you start seeing volume coming into the market from Asia's end. And Maria, we'll check that. We'll check that in about 27 minutes. If you're not around, I'll note it in the chat if you get a chance to look at it tomorrow. But we'll see. You know, we'll see what kind of type of price action we get around that mark. And clearly, I don't trade during this time, but I'm always checking quotes and prices, and that's generally when I see big price movements. And again, I don't trade that time. It could be I could be off from the time change, but I don't think that's the case. I mean, just to look at it again, all of this move happened in 1, 2, 3, really within 5, 6, 7 minutes. And for the last 90 minutes, is that right? 23, we've just been flatlined. Samantha, I'm not familiar. Do you know the ticker for that? I think this is just of pound US dollar. Do you have a ticker for exactly what you're looking at? But any kind of gap makes sense, obviously, with news coming out after New York close, and this was due to obviously a high impact news event. I'm trying to go back here to the euro, and I want to show you, for example, this gap over here. This is when the French president was elected, and what was this, a gap of like 200 pips? And whether or not this will eventually be filled, of course, maybe. but you saw, look at the move you saw from that gap from 0.107 to 0.109, and then that went up a couple of thousand pips, and it's come back down now, and who knows what it's going to do next, and will this gap eventually fill? You know, are you betting on the EU long term? I don't know, you know. Probably it will fill eventually, but look at the, you know, gaps could run away. And look at, this is a good example to look at. Don't be looking for a fill to happen quickly, especially in this circumstance where things were fundamentally changed. Again, it could happen, but don't be looking for a gap to be filled right away. And here's a clear example. This was also an election. This was an election, the French election. You have a similar play. King, again, this time of day, I genuinely don't think so. I do not trade oil. So I don't have a feel for it to know like that. And, you know, just off of my gut, you know, but I also see some strong plays. I see strong yen plays, I see strongly sided weak yen plays happening right now. We're seeing not only strong appreciation continue on the pound. I don't know if you want to chase that, but we're seeing that really the Australian dollar, like looks like a trend is developing. I'm interested in seeing if I could get in a position here. This is a year-long trend line that has broken. We're now trading back. What spiked here above and below resistance. Wait for the dust to settle from what's happened in these last 12 hours. Let's see what happens overnight. Let's see what the narrative is tomorrow morning, and just wait for the dust to settle, because if we have seen any type of, if we're seeing any type of big transitions happen here, then we got time to get in on them, right? Don't make a hasty decision. Wait for things to come to you. There's plenty of time. So I'm mainly curious to see what happens in the next 10 minutes. If we do see some volume come into the markets, otherwise, I mean, I'm not sure that we're going to get any type of different information on what is being revealed this evening. And I'm going to be more interested on what happens overnight during London. Since we got on, price has been steady. This is kind of forward looking. It says the EU is responding already. And then, so this could be market moving for sure, whatever the response is from the EU, that could cause these gains to extend. And then we have at the top of the hour, in just a few minutes, some further results. So if you're focused in over on the pound, it's time to get refocused. Let's see what happens in the next few minutes or so as the rest of these results come in to see whether it's much more of the same or we get anything new that mixes up the situation here. All right, let's take a look at the last 3 minutes. So, right or wrong, Maria, and again, I understand that they're showing that the Asian Open at 7 o'clock Eastern time, but you can see coming at 8 o'clock Eastern time, this little move that came in. It's just my experience. So I don't know the reason for it, but I definitely notice at this time is when you start seeing movement come in during the Asian session. Let's see if that translated on any other pairs. Pretty dormant, just this little burst. It's almost as if it came down and touched that support, and so far is since bouncing. You can see the touch right there of our support, and it's holding right now. Again, we are during the Asian session. I'm more concerned of the moves, the signals that take place during London, during New York. It's still very, very early in the day. A lot needs to be digested. I can't really see the reason. I'm trying to figure out in my head reasons for gold to have bid, and it comes down to two things. So the Fed is on hold right now, but they're injecting a ton of money. This new headline we just saw today that they're looking to inject over $500 billion by the year end. That seems something's wrong there. That seems insane to me. So there's a reason to be bid gold. But at the same time, the Fed is on hold, supposedly, as far as any interest rate cuts, which would definitely put a bid under gold. So, but I'm also looking at the Chinese USA trade war. And if that's coming to some type of resolution, that should not put a bid under gold. So that's why I'm leaning that this is going to break down, and I think it's going to break down tonight out of this bear flag. But right now, and someone else in here called it about a half hour ago, that price was trading down at support, and they were looking to take a nibble buying gold. And since then, right now, it has been rising. It has risen about $6, but it seems like just normal market fluctuation. This time when we came down off the support, we kind of bounced pretty quickly. You saw it bounce over here, but a lot of times, price doesn't normally bounce right away, as you see down here. Here, this kind of bounced. Here, this hug, this bounce definitely. Let's see what happens down here. I guess what's also just gold, the US dollar, you could see it on the DXY, and you could see it loud and clear on the Australian dollar, and even on the euro. You've seen the dollar firming up a tiny bit here. At least this resistance level is holding right now. But you're seeing that adverse effect. You're not seeing the US dollar gain on gold. You're seeing the opposite. So it's not telling a very clear story for me at the moment. The fact that the Chinese set the yuan a little firmer is a good sign. When things are escalating, they're actually setting it weaker. All right, everyone, it looks like we're pretty well set going until tomorrow morning. As far as overnight, I'm waiting for a clearer picture to really reassess. A lot's going to transpire between now and the opening of New York. A lot's going to take place in Europe overnight, and it could be very jumpy going into New York, and we still might not have any type of idea or a clear picture. But we're going to have a clearer picture than we do right now. That's for sure. And we'll take a look and we'll just reassess. And it's Friday, so we'll be cautious about that. And then we're just going to pick our spots and wait. A lot really has taken place over today's trading session over the last 12 hours. And we saw some enormous movements, and it's really tough to get ahead of those. It's better to stand aside when you're uncertain. I'm still looking at gold, and if we get a breakdown here tonight, I'll be interested in taking a look to the short side. But that support is holding up right now. But that's the only thing I'm watching. That's the only thing I'm watching now. And we'll take a look together tomorrow. I thought we were going to be a little more active. Actually, this has been the pound Japanese yen since we got on, and it's been a range of, that's not such a bad range. It's still a 40 pip range, but after a 450 pip move, that seems like nothing. And that's what it is. It's just flatlined. Hope you all enjoy the evening. Look forward to sharing more with you soon. I'll be on tomorrow. Hope you have a great night, everyone. Great day, wherever you might be. And I'll catch up with you soon. Yeah, Maria, I thought it was going to be a little more active, and it's not, so that's okay. But yeah, it's time to enjoy the evening a little bit. So thanks, everybody.